One. And welcome back to another episode of Skill Issue. In this episode, me, Chris, and my co-host Tait, that way, are going to be talking about the Risky Rollers team tournament, which is a 8-person, 5-round team tournament, which is pretty exciting. You don't actually get a whole lot of these in the year. Like obviously WTC is like the big one everyone knows about, but there really isn't that many. And like in New Zealand and Australia, there isn't that many of these. They're mainly 5-person tournaments, so it'd be really interesting. But before all of that, how you doing, Tate?
I'm honestly not okay. I've been building Emperor's Children for about 3 days straight now. I've just been grinding, working from home in quote marks. And they're basically all done, but it's been a mission. Yeah, that's where I'm at. What about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I've been working all this week, which has been not too bad. But gotten a couple of TTS games in, which has been nice. Been seeing what I want to take to like the blood in a couple of weeks. So I'm list spiraling pretty hard. But I think I've locked down that I'm not taking Montcar for singles. I think Montcar is going to be really good for like a teams tournament. But I think there's a bit too much volatility there for singles. So I'm kind of like, I'll still probably play that for maybe a teams tournament coming up. But I probably won't be playing it for singles because there's just some matchups. Or either matchups or boards that just aren't very good for you. And if you get one of those, and especially if you get a good player in one of those, I'm just giving myself a much harder time than I need to. So
I think that's absolutely the right call. Like I've been playing quite a bit versus Montcar, and the other thing is just every time it goes second, it just feels like it's fighting for like this. Like it still puts up points, but in a singles tournament, like it is fighting for the win. If it's going second, it's just seems like it'd be a huge struggle. So I think that's the right call. I personally hope you take the 20 boys and Gaz to Lakes. Yeah. That's my that unit has aura.
I just don't have the 20 flash kits. Like I think that list actually has so much gas, but 20 flash kits when I have 0 is a difficult number to get to in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I honestly hit up if you're watching Frankie, hit up Frankie. Yeah. He has 10 flash kits, which I'm sure he'll be happy to lend you.
Okay, that's sweet. Yeah. So I still need to only get access to another 10. That's actually not too bad then. But yeah, it's definitely the orc list. Since our tier list video, I have changed them from B tier, and in my mind they're now like very high in A tier. I think they actually are pretty ridiculously strong. Like they're actually pretty cooked now. That I didn't comprehend all the cascading buffs on the 20 man that you get with Gaz. You get +1 to hit, +1 to wound, crit 5s, which are lethal and sustained. And on the Y, your strength 6. So with +1 to wound, you're wounding knights on 4s with like 80 attacks, which turn into like 100 hits, which like 20 of them are already lethals. Like
yeah. It's also so hard to like control or to play around that unit as an opponent, right? Because the threat range is huge and it moves through models. So just like move blocking is off the cards. Although I discovered actually that it can't move through models in charge phase. Yeah. So you can block out the charges, which is like a little bit of
your screens are just further back, right? That's kind of how you play around that unit. Which is still good. It's like as long as I can tag a bunch of stuff, it's kind of like fine. And it's very funny because the 20 boys, like the data sheet rule is sticky as well. So that you just tag a bunch of stuff. If your opponent doesn't kill you off everything, you just sticky a bunch of projectors and you just full send everything else the next turn. It's quite funny.
Yeah. That is pretty cursed.
Yeah. It's good. Like I don't think it's like overwhelmingly powerful, but I think it is very strong. And I think it's probably very similar to like Emperor's Children in a way that if your opponent makes a mistake, you can just absolutely windmill slam and just win the game on the spot. So it's like one of those things you have to play around the whole game until they use it.
I think as well, like it's that unit is very powerful. Like the flash gets commanders are better, but the rest of the list is still orcs that weren't in a great spot. Like yeah. And orcs are still fragile as
that is like the biggest issue. Yeah. Warhorde kind of helps it a little bit because you get like the -1 to wound, but you're still like 1 wound, 5 up save dudes. Like
yeah. Like even with strength 3 hand flamers, I've played that as like in the more darker days. I played it a lot with my final day. You just like rinse them. You just pick them up.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I think I like the addition of the flash kits, because they're 2 wounds, 4 up save base, so they actually have a bit more durability there. Especially from those like 1 damage kind of attacks and stuff. But one of the biggest issues I have with that 20-man boys unit is just Overwatch. If you have like 6 flamers that can shoot them, because in Overwatch you can't -1 to wound, so they're wounding on 5s. If they're strength 5, they're wounding on 4s, and you can literally just lose like half your output like pretty easily. So it's like it's not ideal there. So
like that unit is swingy even at like the damage is good, but it's swingy even at a 10-man, right? So if you go to like a 5, all of a sudden it's just like not reliable.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, like the damage, like every boy you lose, you actually like it's an insane amount of damage you're losing, which is very funny to say, but like 4 attacks that are hitting on 2s, wounding on probably 3s, with lethal and sustained 5s is actually a significant drop in output.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so yeah, playing that. Got a game lined up for Orcs this weekend, and then I also have I've been playing around with Wrath of the Rock. I've got a scrim game for a team's practice event that I'm playing them in, and then I've also got another kind of style list that I want to try that has Desolators in it. Everyone's telling me Desolators are bad, but I think
I'm everyone.
Yeah, everyone's telling me they're bad, and everyone can be wrong.
I've literally played that matchup with an army that is super vulnerable to Desolators. Trash unit.
Yeah, but you also told me that the line was trash, and he's like the MVP. He is an absolute lad.
Yeah, but I didn't read the data slate properly, so that's just the skill issue.
Yeah, very true, very true. But yeah, I want to try it out. It's one of those things like I think I just need to give it a couple of games and see what it's like. I think the Desolators are interesting because there's a lot of T3 bodies and a lot of T5 bodies in the meta right now, and because Wrath of the Rock has the +2 strength strat on ranged weapons, you can make the Desolator's gun strength 6, which is a really good break point for a lot of things. And you just give them oath, and you can actually do a surprising amount of damage with that unit. And the issue that with the list that I've been playing is they don't have a lot of like trash pieces. So like picking up your opponent's trash can be really tricky. So having a unit that can actually just go and like, cool, you got 5 Jaegers are on this point. No, you don't. Like they consistently do kill 5 saves like that. And for lakes, we have the maps already, and 4 of them I can get plunging fire on the Desolators, which is actually pretty gas. So AP1 ignores cover Desolators is very good.
See, I agree with your like assessment. The list is like not wide, and I think the problem is that the meta is going wide. And you're right, you do have an issue picking up those small little MSU units, but I think Desolators actually make it worse instead of helping, because you're putting 200 points into something that is standing in a ruin all game instead of playing the game, and that's what I think is like the issue with them in Wrath.
I have found that I have to keep something on my home field, because the worst thing that can happen to me in like how the list kind of plays is it never wants to go backwards. It's kind of like Death Guard in that regard. Like it never wants to go back, so I have to have something back to screen anywhere, and I kind of want to send my intercessors forward to be able to sticky after turn 1. It's like sticky the center or use them. So it's like I'm not losing positional wise, because yes, it's a 200-point unit, but I needed something back there, and because I can get plunging fire a lot of the time, like even plunging fire on 4 guys and then 1 guy's within range of the objective, that's kind of like probably fine. But again, I need to test it. We won't talk about Desolators anymore.
No, but you've made me mad now. Like the rage is flowing. That's 2 scouts and an enhancement. Like
it's true. It is like it is. Well, I think it's 2 units of Van Vets. I think is the really
which is better.
Yeah. Well, they give you those 2 trash pieces, but the Van Vets are very much one and done. Like they kill something and then they die. Right? They're just 5 Marines. Yes, Wrath of the Rock gives them a little bit more durability, but they're not realistically any more durable. I did play against Ollie the other day with his Death Guard, and I was like, 5 melter pistols. Oh, I'm gonna kill like 2 Death Shroud with this. Hit with all of them, wounded with all of them. Ollie made all his 4-up involved saves. Like good.
Yeah. Correct result, wrong means.
Exactly. I was within 3 inches as well. It's like every 3-up is just a dead guy. It's like this is gonna feel great. It's like, no. That was a wild game. I also shot 6 Eradicators at 2 bloat drones. I think one was on 5 wounds, and I did a total of 2 damage. I was like,
yep. So it sounds like Ollie's just a bad player with good dice. That's what I'm hearing.
That tracks.
That's all I have. Yeah.
Anyway, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get into the event?
No, other than I know like last episode we were talking about I was hinting that Xenocrete and GSC was very public service announcement to all the GSC players out there. It is it's I've been playing it a bit. I guess that's where my games have been this weekend, because I was looking at taking teams tournament that we're going to talk about. And I guess it was, I don't love Brood Surge play style wise, and obviously most of Ascension get a bit of a pusher role, and GSC do that. So testing Xenocrete for that, and I think in verse like a good player, it's tenning. It's just doing like standard GSC things, and not as well as Outlander Claw. So that was kind of, or Final Day, that was kind of the outcome.
Yeah, because you can stack all the buffs, which is cool, but you could just play a better army and do something similar.
Yeah. I can not have my 100-step plan, and things can just work.
Yeah. So this is what I need to do with Desolators. I need to just play them for a little bit, realize again, oh yeah, they are pretty shit, and then move on.
Yeah. I promise you it won't take long.
Yeah, that's fair. The issue is I'll play like 2 armies that are like, they're absolutely god tier into, and I'm like, these guys are like in every list, and then I'll play one and just get rolled. I'm like, great.
You just play 5 games of Dylan Andrikari with no transports for some reason.
Yeah. They pop a transport, a string 6. They actually pop a transport. Like,
it's kind of cute. Yeah.
Anyway, as that's going, let's talk about the event. This is going to be pretty cool. So let's bring up, we've got BCP here. So it's the Risky Rollers Team Tournament 2025, 4th and 5th of October, in Melbourne, I believe, right? It's in Melbourne, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's in, I think it's a gaming arena, which is like the big,
nice.
I think some of our like NZ North team from or South as well, I guess, North and South teams from a couple of years ago will have played there, I think, so we'll be familiar.
Nice.
But
That's Joshua Diffie's place, eh? Yeah. Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, do you want to talk about the event at all? Is there much we need to go through, or do we want to go straight into the lists? I'll bring up the lists while you talk.
Yeah. I mean, the event is, I guess, I think it's the first year that they've run it, so it's like, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but it's a obviously, as you were saying, it's like an 8-man teams event, which is a rarer thing out, at least in NZ and Oz, outside international events. Like you got like Champs Cup, those kinds of things. But yeah, I think other than some murking is probably the other thing. Like I just found a group of people on Discord that needed have a bit more teams experience. Specifically, I have more 8s experience than the rest of them, so I've kind of fallen in a little bit into sort of like a vice captain role, I guess. Or I'm head coach. Here we go. I'm head coach.
Oh, yeah.
So self-proclaimed head coach. So helping people with lists. Like a few of our members haven't played a whole heap of 10 through, like, limited in that they're still building up their collection, so they're models. And then some of them, because it's sort of like, it was a bit of a mixed team to begin with, and then we drop, and we've had replacements kind of, I think in our Discord chat there's now 12.
That tracks pretty much every team event, I feel.
So we've got some like very good players on there, but then we've also got some played a guy Sunday who's just come onto the team. I was his first game of 10th. So but like I think it's a good bunch, and I think like with a more sort of mixed team like this, it's almost like kind of nice to play a tournament how like the first few teams tournaments that I attended where we're sort of just going a bit more for fun. Like I and some of the other players that are a bit more experienced would kind of like to go like 3-2, or but it's also like just real important to make sure that the newer members have fun, have a good kind of like first teams tournament, that kind of thing. Yeah,
it's awesome having an 8s as your first team tournament. Like that would be absolutely killer if your first experience is like full-fledged, this is everything teams. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, this guy hasn't even it must be a weird experience to a couple of the people. Like they haven't even. So I'm like, You know, like I'm here telling them like losing is fine. You know, like just bring back points. What? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Concepts that are just like,
it's
no, this is wrong.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm.
Well, shall we crack on to your comp then? Do we want to go through the full comp together and then we'll just kind of go through each list individually, or do you want to go like start at a certain list and work our way through?
Um, I'm happy. I think the first one makes a bit kind of give a bit of an
So give a
overview.
whole overview and then we'll crack on to
Yeah.
individual lists. So we got Chaos Space Marines, which is I believe Chaos Cults. If I'm not.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got Chaos Cults. Is that 30 like max ACDC and then a bunch of cultists and stuff?
Yeah. My understanding is it's like almost a one for one of the Folger Piles Chaos Cult lists from WTC.
Nice.
So its name is like Cult Dash USA or something, or at least, but it's like the max ACDC communes, 30 cultists, 20 Trader Guard, Rhino, couple of the Predator tanks, like the autocannon Predators, and then one of the las cannon, Disco Lord, which is like kind of spicy.
Yep.
I imagine that's in there from like the list just hasn't been updated from Night Meta, is what I imagine. And then also the Terminator Sword 1 AP, which is like a cute
It's
deck.
nice, yeah. Getting the cult, like the mutants, the small guys in the ACDC bricks, like pumping their AP up is actually really good. Because you're just throwing so many saves at your opponent. Just the more AP you can give them, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, like the damage from that, like I'd say AP1 is outside of but AP1 is its real limiting factor. Outside of that, like hitting something doesn't have AOC, the damage is insane on those units. Like in Chaos Cult specifically, it really pumps the ACDC damage up.
Yeah, nice, nice. Cool. Next we have Ben on Tyranids. What kind of Tyranids list we got here? Is there a bunch of big monsters?
It's like extra big monster. We specifically kind of designed this list. Like Ben is one of the was I think a bit more deliberate in how he wrote his list for teams. Like he's written taking a light board to have like a bit of sort of threat for knights, like because this is when we still weren't sure if Strike was going to be good or
Yep.
So he designed it to have he's got the double rupture fix just so they have to kind of respect it a little bit. He's got double Malicept,
Nice.
so each Maliceptor can baby a rupture fix and have it within their and then he's got double Exocrine and a Norn, so he's like an invasion fleet. He's got the 5-up from the pain strat, so he's just sitting on the light board hopefully and
being able to
shooting.
have the Norn and something else with the 5-up Fiona Pain is pretty hellish to have to like dig things off objectives as well. Really nice.
And the Hive Tyrant's got the enhancement, so he's got 3 5-up Fiona Pain monsters.
Yeah, that's
it's pretty
cursed.
Yeah.
So cursed.
Yeah. Hive Tyrant can go to a 4-up Fiona Pain.
Yeah.
It is yeah.
And then we've got Chris on Leagues of Votan next.
Yeah, so Chris is one of our newer players. And I think he is definitely, I'm just looking at it myself, not actually sure what he submitted. He's definitely kind of just playing what he has, I think a bit more. Yep. Yeah, so I kind of talked to him a little bit and we decided to go with Nerdguard or Nerdguard, however you say it. I think it's a bit more stable. He'd been playing a lot of Brandfast, but then obviously there was the nerf to how that stratagem works, like the reactive disembark stratagem. So it only works in your own turn now. And I think even if it had remained as it was, I think this detachment is still the better one for looking at a role where you are just bring back a and it's just got like a sort of broader toolkit for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like Votan is very much like it can push in very specific matchups, but it's just trying to bring back points, right? Like it's kind of like the style of I feel like we're voting kind of sits at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well for this player in particular, like it's probably just feels a bit better for him to, contribute that way. Yeah.
That's a huge part for teams as well, is making sure you're your players feel comfortable in what they're playing. There's no point putting them on this super powerful meta list and they're like, well, one, I don't enjoy playing it, and two, it's probably actually not going to be very good if you don't know how to play it.
Yes.
A lot of the more meta lists are very lean on like extra resources, but like for like a newer player, they actually need that like extra scout unit or that extra unit of Jaegers split up just so they can have that extra unit,
Bit more redundancy, yeah, or if something plays like a very specific, because like Necron player, who was the guy I was talking about, who it was his first game of 10th, he
Crazy.
had obviously like, he'd been watching a lot of YouTube and he'd seen that 40 up with 40 warriors, and they kind of just like milled around in the midboard off points. I was like, okay, maybe we changed to rates.
Nice. Yeah.
Because it's just a bit trickier to play with, and like understandably so with that like being your first game. Yeah.
Nice. So next we have Daniel on Imperial Knights.
Yeah, so Dan's actually the team captain, who he is a guy that I had actually played a couple of times, which is he reached out to me to fill the spot, so that's kind of how I ended up here.
Nice.
He's a pretty good player. He is also, I was just looking at the list before, fought tooth and nail to get 8 included for him.
Your audio just cut out there for a second.
Oh, hold on. Oh, it'll be my Discord. What?
Oh.
All right, I'm back.
Ooh. Yeah, that beautiful face of yours. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. My Discord sometimes, if I stay in it for too long, the audio starts cutting out, and I just have to exit and re-enter, and I don't know what causes it. But yeah, so Dan is pretty solid. Like he came 4th at a local GT here recently. Yeah, so I think he's just looking. He's taken a few bigs to be a bit more board agnostic, because we kind of have that tension between like the Nid list really wants the light table, and Knights might as well, but with more bigs he can sort of just walk through the walls and it's like less of an issue, maneuverability kind of thing. Although like he still probably wants a board where he can maximize towering and capitalize on that quite a bit. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, like a bit more board agnostic, but like can still push in the right matchups if he gets a good board kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nice. That's always nice to have. It's kind of nice when you're like, okay, I can throw you into the wild, but if we can, let's try and steer you into something good. But like, it's not like a mandatory thing. Like some night lists where it's like, I cannot play on these 3 boards. These 2 boards are okay. It's like, oof.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. That is something, because the other thing we were tossing up was the Armiger list, and I think that would have been like, it is just competing too much with our Tyranid list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I do actually think the Armiger like lists might end up being like the best way to play Knights. Like double defender,
I agree.
and then just a bunch of Armigers, because like the defender output is really good, and then just having 4 Armigers with -1 damage is actually cursed. Like I think that is horrible.
I agree, and I also think it's like the home of the Lancer. Not because like you get your second 4 up and on, but also 3 Armigers advance and charge now, and that detachment. Like what?
Yeah,
like,
on the turn you
take
can just be like, wee.
Yeah,
just send them.
Bang.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Budget. Yeah, I think there's some real interesting stuff there. Also, because the Lancer does have that like piddly little gun, you can use that to proc the extra AP on stuff, which is very funny.
Oh, that is spicy.
Yeah. So there's I think there's some really interesting stuff there.
Yeah, and that was something we were definitely looking at, but I think we just landed on this.
Yeah, of course. No. And next we have Mahan on Black Templars.
Yeah, he's another he is a Pairing's Princess, I think, possibly him, myself, and Chaos Ben. But he is another really good kind of local player around here. He's been playing the Templars, like getting pretty good results with Templars before the Codex, like even when they were kind of not great. He has also got like a pretty potent list, I think. I don't know, we've talked about this. You notice he has triple Rep X, and I don't know if that is correct over double Rep X. But yeah, he's certainly getting the results with it. So it's another.
That's the main thing. Like, I feel like in teams, it's probably a bit like you can definitely, if you're being princessed already, like if you're going to get a bit of pairings protection or like table like pick, the 3rd Rep X probably can actually help you push harder than the extra like 2 units you'd get. The other 2 units probably just make you go a little wider. Like, it doesn't really matter what you go into as much, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, I think definitely there's some like interesting things where, in like particularly, I think it makes him a bit better if he goes on like a lighter table because he's got the
Yeah.
third big transport, and then like you can smoke. I don't know if you can smoke the Repex, but like you can AOC the Repex, you can maybe smoke it,
Yeah.
um, and they kill one Repex, and then you still have two to respond, and a
Mm.
lot of your like pressure units are still safe because he's got another transport as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Um, and the shooting is just like cursed.
It's very good. Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
And, yeah, and then otherwise it's like quite MSU. None of the big like 10-man sword bros or crusaders or anything. It's kind of a bit more, slightly more in the vein of what David Gaillard ran to LGT
Yep.
with the like assault intercessor units and then min size sword bros. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Nice stuff. Next we have Rob and his Necrons. We kind of alluded to this a little earlier, so it's double Wraith bricks, is it?
It's double Wraithbrook. Yeah, this is again a bit like he's managed to borrow quite a bit of stuff off a mate, but again is like a little bit limited by him just coming back into the hobby. So he really wanted the Nightbringer, and we have settled for the Void Dragon, which is like fine. It's not
Yep.
yeah, like it's not a bad unit.
No.
So he's going for kind of the yeah, and props to Rob for putting his hand up as well, because like I said, he literally played his first game of 10th the day of list submission.
Wild.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, and it has also had like a great attitude, kind of
Yep.
just getting his ass handed to him at we did a team practice and was just all about kind of learning and
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome. That's the attitude you need to have
Yeah.
when you want to get back into it. Like just take every blow as it comes, but like try and learn as much as you can. And especially when you're playing against like better players, it can help so much. Just like take those insights in and be like, okay, cool. Okay, maybe I do need to be a bit safer here. It's like, oh, actually, no, I could have gone aggressive here. Like, and just like slowly understanding these board states. Like, it takes a long time to understand. Like, be able to look at a board and be like, oh, this person's winning. But like, once you kind of understand that, like, and it just takes that time. It's really good. So, awesome stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And
Now
then
we
who
got Ryan and his Custodes.
Ryan's a bit of a mystery. I've never met Ryan.
Oh,
There's another person that Dan supposedly knows.
Yep.
And so Dan also plays Custodes, wrote that list.
Yep.
Ryan's going to be there on the day, supposedly.
Good.
Play it.
Good.
We hope.
Yeah. Oh, dream.
Yeah. Supposedly he's all right. He just hasn't played a whole heap and is very busy. So yeah, again, thank you to Ryan for filling the empty spot. Yeah.
Fair.
If you even exist.
Yeah. Mate, yeah. If it wasn't for like those kind of players, right? You just don't get a team, and then it's like, and then the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
So like they're literally like the pillars that are holding everything up. Very cool. And Custodes is also a great, like, Custodes and Necrons are two very forgiving factions, so it's very clever to put like your greener players on like armies that you can just kind of have a very basic game plan, which is like, cool, you're going out on objectives and staying there.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, and you're gonna roll those fours.
Yeah.
Remember the fours. Yeah.
Yeah. Just scream
that's kind of
Megalushi and roll.
Yeah. I'm hoping for Ryan to channel his inner Megalushi. The Blade Champs are gonna hit those 6s to advance, 11s to charge.
Dream.
They're gonna be on the home too. Glorious. Yeah.
And then last but probably least, we have you on Emperor's Children.
Yeah. So again, like I've been playing a heap of Emperor's Children on TTS, but didn't until Sunday evening, didn't have the army. Yeah. So I was looking at I'm much more comfortable in that sort of blunting role, and obviously like I've a lot of reps on Gene Stealer Cult, so I was looking at doing that. But I think given like our last minute roster changes, I was probably pushed a bit more into just needing to bring a bit more pressure, play something that has the potential to put up those higher scores.
Yep.
And I think Emperor's Children is like quite well placed to do that. And I also wanted to put pressure on myself to actually build and paint the army. So Mahan made me buy the whole thing. And I've now spent 3 days assembling and painting.
Great.
And my will to live is rapidly disappearing. Yeah.
Great. So have
Yeah.
you painted anything yet?
Yep, I got a rhino and a demon prince
So good.
done.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have basically everything else is assembled. And the plan is, I think it might, yeah, depending how dark it gets, I'm going to spray it all tonight or tomorrow morning, and we're going to get slap chopping minimum 3 colors.
Good.
Uh,
The dream.
yeah. Yeah.
So what do you want to go through all the lists? We kind of broke down the base of it. What's some of the more interesting lists that we could kind of talk about here?
I think more interesting lists would definitely be Ben, Mahan, and Ben, and maybe my list as well.
But let's start with yours since, you're here.
Yeah, well, my list actually not that like. Oh, it is a bit like Emperor's Children is
Since you're here, we should probably talk about your list, right?
Yeah.
Firstly, let's read the the title of your video of your list. Bro, you will literally never see me play flawless blades, bro. Like literally never. The datasheet is shit. Even if they get +1 attack, man, I wouldn't do it. The datasheet is just so overcosted, bro. Dan Fox, S tier EC player on the skill issue tier list. Beautiful.
Yeah. I was, and shout out to Dan Fox, our resident S tier, long time viewer, been with us since the very beginning, and great EC player. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit. So it's like I am running the big thing that makes it not cookie cutter EC is I am running 3x3 flawless blades.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I haven't actually put on the table. I think 1 to 2 units definitely good after the change. 3, little bit of a meme because me and Dan were talking about it. But also, I think in teams there is a bit of an argument. Like you have this weird tension between you don't want to send the demon princes out too early. You don't want to trade your infractor units for a really like low value piece, or you don't want to be forced to trade your infractor units for a low value piece in order to generate pledge points.
Yeah.
Nor do you really want to do that with your noise marines. And the flawless blades will the 3-man will consistently kill 5 marines. Like it is just, and it's at a lower price point, it's less valuable than those other pieces. But late game, once it does have all the buffs, they kill like a big knight. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm interested to, see how it does. I suspect it'll go down to 2. Yeah.
Sweet. So let's just run through the list quickly then. So your Coterie of the Conceited, which is like kind of the 90% of what people are running. You have 2 demon princes with wings. One has Pledge to Eternal Servitude, and that's the come back to life. The res, isn't it?
Stand back up. Yep. Yeah, I really wanted the flip in there. I think that is given like 3 flawless blades is probably actually slightly better for pushing because you have more damage pieces. But I think turning one of them into spawn and getting the flip on the second prince was like another thing I was really considering. Yeah.
Then you got 2 Lord Exultants, Lucius the Eternal, 2 Infractor unit, 2 5-man Infractor units, 2 5-man Tormentor units, 2 Rhinos, the 3 units of Flawless Blades, and 3 units of Noise Marines. So we went max Noise Marines as well. I've seen quite a few lists that are only running 2 Noise Marines, but you're definitely gone for the OCD 3 Blades, 3 Noise Marines.
Yeah, I think like 3 blades may not be correct. I think 18 noise marines is for Quittery.
Yep.
I think in some of the like if you play the what is it called Carnival, or if you play Peerless Bladesman, like Peerless Blades, you definitely go to 12. Carnival, I can see an argument for 12 after the Cacophonous went up. But I think for Quittery 18 is correct. Yeah.
Yep. Nice, cool. Let's see. Yeah, so you're able to push. It's nice having those like melee pressure lists. So your opponent can't just put things up that are really weak to melee pressure because you have multiple lists, because you have like the Black Templars in this that can just kind of go into them and kind of just like, well, you're going into a bad matchup. Like, so stuff like that is really nice. Whereas if you were on GSC and you're playing Outlander Claw, you don't have that kind of like melee side where you're a good all-rounder, but you can't like pressure pairings, which is a really important thing to be able to do.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, in this meta, to be fair, like I think Outlander Claw can definitely pressure Eldar in pairings, which is like an important thing to have. But yeah.
Sweet. So do we go through? Let's go through Mahan's Black Templars list next. I think that's a pretty interesting one.
Yeah. So like you said, this is our other kind of like melee sword sort of slash pin with the EC.
Because you kind of pair them together quite often. I'd feel.
Yes.
So we got Space Marine, Black Templars, Gladius Task Force. Sad that Gladius is still one of the best ways to play Marines for the last 3 years.
It's consistent.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So we got characters. We got 2 Castellans, Emperor's Champion with Honor Vehement, High Marshal Halbrecht, Combi Lieutenant with Combi Lieutenant, 2 Marshals, 2 units of Assault Intercessors, 1 unit of Normal Intercessors, 1 Impulsor, 1 unit of JPI, triple Repulsor Executioners, which are just very good in Black Templars,
Big
2
dick.
unit discounts. What was that?
I was just saying big dick with the triple Repulsor Executioner.
It's huge cojones there. Yeah, double scouts, and then only the 2 Sword Brethren squads, which is interesting. But I actually kind of like that because like you're less susceptible to like the -1 damage kind of armies as well. Because like you still just you can throw a bunch of like AP2 attacks through with the what's it called with the Assault Intercessors, which is quite nice.
Yeah. I think I really like the like also like it is one of those things that you just see across codexes, like that reroll wounds in melee datasheet ability where the unit gives it to the character is just like so cracked. Like Helbrecht and the Emperor's Champion just getting wound rerolls is
Emperor's Champion into like a knight literally does a like with he pops his like devs, he does like 15 damage. It's actually crazy.
Yes. Yeah, and the chances of that knight having more than 15 wounds with triple Repex out there are not high.
Yep. Now, really great pressure list. Like being able to really pressure shooting lanes with the triple Repexes is really nice. But then just having so much melee, and then having the double reactive moves is also just a thing. Like having the fallback reactive, and then you can also then squad tactics. So you can go like D6 plus 6 inches or 12 inches if you're in Tact Doctrine is kind of cursed as an ability.
That is so another thing we're looking at with this is with like World Eaters being quite strong. We there's not a lot of Emperor's Children, but we thought we'd see more of it. Templar's Mirror as well, although that would probably be Gladius as well. We're looking at the kind of like combat mirrors with this, so it's got access to guaranteed fight on death, reactive moves, and like it's really multi-phase, which is I think all really good in that melee mirror.
Fight on death is just so huge for the melee mirrors. Like, cool. You're one unit, and then you charge me with another unit, and we both trade again. Good. Like it's just it's very good.
Yeah, or like I've watched like Mahan play this and put it just like on his go turn, if he doesn't need the advance and charge, just go Tact Doctrine, Army Wide at the start of it, just so everything has the flat 6 reactive up, and you just can't have reliable charges on the clapback because they just get back in a transport. It's just like,
it's so awful. Yeah. Very cool. It's a very, very good list, and like if piloted well, can just do crazy things. So, and what you've said about Mahan is like it's gonna be just he's gonna be able to push some big wins.
Or he's gonna go. I'm gonna pair him real badly, and he's gonna go 0-5.
That sounds accurate for you, so that's good. Yeah. Let's probably one more list. Let's have a look. See what's another list that you think would be.
I think Ben Codes is interesting. Like Chaos Cults is just cool.
It is cool. Let's have it. Sweet. So we got. Sorry, take a drink. Out of the biggest cup imaginable.
I noticed when we were getting ready. I saw that. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I was like, "Well, I have to get use out of this Stein from Oktoberfest from the weekend." So I was like, "Whoa." Sweet. So we got Ben's Heretic Astartes Chaos Cult list, and it's got Cypher, Dark Commune, Dark Commune, Dark Commune, and we have Incendiary Goad, which is the plus strength, I believe, and then
plus strength plus attack.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. It's plus strength if you're full strength, and then if you've lost models, or you can Dark Pact and then get plus attacks or something. Yeah.
No, that's so there's a stratagem that does that, right. And then this is if you're below starting strength or below half strength, so you can actually stack the enhancement and the stratagem to be +2 strength, +2 attacks, which is just like big yuck.
gnarly.
And
Yeah,
you're already plus one wound. There's another strat for reroll hits and wounds. Like
yeah,
it one taps the endless gift great unclean one for
yeah,
context.
yeah.
Like
It's gross. Yeah. Then we got a second Dark Commune with Warped Foresight. Is that the scout move?
No, it might be. I think that is reroll advance, reroll charge.
That's still very good.
Yeah, I think that's just like the cheap 10-pointer. I will look though.
So I'll go through the rest of the characters while you do that. And we have a Lord Discordant and a Sorcerer and Terminator armor to give that extra AP when you need it, which is just really, really nice. Yeah, the Sorcerer is just really pivotal because like if you need that extra AP to, you know, if they're going to have AOC active, just cool. I'm still forcing through 1 AP. Really, really great there. Or like even in your shooting, your Preds just getting that extra AP on them so you can clear that screen is like can be really important. There's so many different applications that can just really, this opens up a lot of options, which is really nice.
Yeah, super good. And you are right, it is Scout 6, not reroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I somewhat know my Chaos Cults. Sweet. And then we got Battle Line. We got 3 units of cultists, just of 10s, 1 unit of Nurglings, and 2 units of Trader Guardsmen. Very nice. Yeah. Bunch of OC.
Yeah, can't complain. They're also the Trader Guardsmen are actually kind of cute because they get the special weapons.
Yep.
And then you also have I think there's a stratagem to go like +1 strength, +1 AP, or +1 to hit, +1 AP in shooting on the damned units, which means the Trader Guardsmen can actually scrap a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and they also get cover so that it's like naturally, like if they're on an objective, they get cover, which is kind of annoying. Like it just, you know, if you don't have Ignores cover, they actually getting the 4-ups, you know, or getting 5-ups if you're AP1, like it's, you know, pretty good. Like,
yeah, for a 70-point unit, it's respectable.
Yeah, they do their job. Then we got a Chaos Rhino, and then the 3 Cursed Cultist units of all max size, because why wouldn't you in this detachment? 1 Annihilator, which is the las cannon predator, and then 2 destructors, which is the autocannon predators, but they all have las cannons on the sides, so like they kind of like the autocannon ones are still kind of dual purpose there, right? Because you're still dark packed, so you still get a bunch of shots out of the las cannons, which is nice.
Yeah, hitting the sustained on the las cannons. Oh baby.
Yeah, when I played Renegade Raiders with the triple ACDC brick for a tournament, and I actually lost to you at that tournament. The Kellamorph that ruined my entire weekend. But yeah, the triple Cursed Cultist bricks do just like bog down games. Like I had a couple of games where it was like, cool, I'm on every single objective apart from your home field, and you don't score your home. Neat.
Yeah, I will say actually, I remember in that game every time because I was playing Outlander Claw, so like very transport heavy. And every time you shot the las cannons at the transports, I was like, "Don't sustain, don't like."
Yeah.
It's spiky, but like you have to respect the damage. Yeah,
I think that's part of the power of them is like, it's only 2 las cannon shots. The autocannon is also like not bad, especially into like transports. But like the 2 las cannons, like it's either like no hits or it's 4 hits, and it's like, oh like. But yeah, so you have to kind of respect it because 4 las cannons can kill pretty much, you know, most things. But you know, I really like this kind of list, man. Like it's really cool. Like I think it does great things in a team's environment as well, because so many lists are like, I don't want to go into that. Oh, I don't have the output for it. So it can really like warp other people's pairing strategies, which can be quite cool.
Yeah, it's also so Ben, I believe plays for Team Victoria and is made the kind of like last minute decision to pivot from vets to chaos cults because it also sells a lot of like it's good into Eldar, it's good into Death Guard, it's good into Knights as long as it's not triple GAT spoiler.
Yep.
So which were all things that our composition was like a little bit weak to. So it also solves a lot of issues for us in pairings. I think it's a really good
awesome pick. Yeah, it's great. And that's like such an important thing in teams as well. It's just like being able to like understand this is a problem. How do we solve this problem? Oh, this list solves our problem. Awesome, cool. You're now on this faction. Especially if I want to play it as well, which is like a win-win.
I think he also had a few like chosen to paint or something, and that was also a motivating factor to not play the chosen.
Yeah,
It's-
fair. Nah, cool. Oh, well, very cool. So, what are your like goals for the weekend? You know, like, so you're saying you're hitting pairings, right? So, what are the goals for pairings? What are the goals for the whole event? Like, what's kind of like what would be your dream
yeah.
into Sunday, like finishing the weekend?
Well, I think bearing in mind like the diversity on the team, I kind of almost have like different goals for different people, if
Yep.
that makes sense. Like I think Mahana's real keen to do really well. So I think for like, and obviously I'm a fairly competitive person. I'm sure Ben wants to win as well. So I think for them, like I want to go at least positive. Like I want to you know at least go like 2-1-2, something like that. Like
Yep.
there are some very good teams there. 3-2 would be great. But then I also, like I don't want our newer players to walk away having had, just being zeroed 5 games, and not having fun. So I've like, um, yeah, would be really keen for them to at least get some wins, or at least to feel like they're bringing back the points, and really understand that they are contributing to the team. Yeah, I think that's yeah. So I think we're just going in with vibes, have a bit of fun. Like I also, it's my first time pairing for 8, so I guess for me, like I want to come away feeling like I've paired well.
Yep.
I think me and Ben are probably gonna collab on it a bit more now, because we were looking at doing a matrix, and then I don't think everyone's going to do their matrix.
Mm.
So I think we might just try and, for the people that haven't done the matrix, just fill in the gaps.
Yep.
Yeah, with just like probably we have a bit more sort of meta knowledge or matchup knowledge in there.
Yep.
And
And
just
you kind of do that like when you're the pairings like team or whatever it is for like an event. You sometimes look at
Mm,
other people's matrices and it's like you trust your players to a degree, but there's also times where I'm like, I really don't think that this is like a 14. I really think this is a 12, or they put it as an 8, and I was like, well, I really think this is drawish if they play it correctly. And sometimes you just kind of got to
yeah,
go with your gut a little bit and just like, because if sometimes you get like one player and all their stuff's negative for a round, and you're like, well, you're gonna have to go into something, so I'm gonna have to try and like,
yes,
contrive something that works, but then also explain to them, hey, this is how I think you can play this matchup, and kind of guide them through how to play it to get the score that you can think that they can get.
yeah, and knowing the player as well is like is an interesting thing. Like I know Mahan, I think, overestimates his scores. Like he'll
Mm,
put like a lot of stuff as like an 18, and I'm like, I believe you win this. I don't think it's an 18. Like
yeah.
that's the, yeah, bit of Migalushi Jr.
Yeah,
Going on. Yeah.
yeah. It's a funny one though, right? Because like you don't want to like tone people down. Like, yeah, yes, King, you get an 18, but like you also want to make sure that it's like, oh, it's an 18, but like, is it every time an 18, or is it a 15 that can be a 20? Like,
Yeah, and that's been another thing that I've really been trying to like instill, is that with with some of them haven't played teams before, or they've played like 1-5s or something, is that like board pick, or like variables, like something might be quite flippy, like Montcar with the go first dynamic,
mm,
or like, was this testing game, like, was the result you got because you were better than your opponent, or they were better than you, or like mission, or like it doesn't, trying to get them to think about all these other things,
yeah.
yeah, for like a bit more accurate data. Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it, right? Like, there's so much different data points that you could go into, and which is really
Yeah.
interesting. But that's I think that's a really cool like way of approaching it for this weekend, is like having different kind of like mental goals for each player, and like for the team as a whole, for like your own progression, for the team's progression, for specific players' progression. That's a really awesome way of going into it. And yeah, best of luck at the event. I think it's going to be super fun. I'm going to be hounding you for messages the entire weekend, making sure that everything's going. I'm assuming Risky Rolls are going to be streaming it, right?
I would imagine so. Yeah, I haven't seen anything about it, but they stream most of their events.
Yeah.
So I think they would be. Yeah.
Be awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely put a link into like on the YouTube and stuff if you play on stream, and all so we can all watch party and watch. I
No,
hope it's
because you
specifically you on stream as well, and then You have the
Yeah.
worst, like, cursed luck on stream, which is great.
Yeah, well, you always I go like 4-1, and you stream my one loss.
Yeah.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
what?
Yeah, yeah. But no, I think
Yeah.
it'll be really cool. But yeah, best of luck for that. I did just check, and LVO lists still aren't live, so we can't really do
Mm.
anything there. But what I thought and what I just kind of whipped up is StatCheck updated the dashboard with like the kind of the first week of the full data slate out. And I was thinking,
That
do we
is
go through
spicy.
kind of like what's been winning and kind of have a talk through that instead?
That sounds cool. I am just going to check for this though if our round one pairing's alive,
Oh yeah.
because I don't see
Okay.
that. They are not live. Let's do stats.
Awesome. Let's make sure I got this up. Cool, that looks like it will work. Let's flip back over to this. Sweet. So you can't see my screen, Tait.
I can see stream pause. Chris V has minimized their application.
Good. Let's see if
Yeah.
I can swap it to change screen, just so you can see what I'm seeing. There we go. How about that? Can you see that now?
Yes. Yeah. We got it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's go. Oh, now this isn't loading.
Yeah, StatCheck is notoriously slow.
Yeah, it has so much data on each page.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
so let's have a look see at what they've done. Also, guys over at StatCheck, they do amazing things. If it wasn't for them, none of this data would be like out in the public for anyone. They do an insane amount of work. So props to them. Go watch their content. They do great stuff. They're great players and they are cool people. So go and check them out. But now let's use that data and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
First thing off the bat,
Yep.
we called it AdMech.
AdMech, yep, 59% win rate, 2 event wins. I'm pretty sure that's event wins. Yeah, 2 event wins. Was that 3% of the meta? That's a crazy amount of the meta for AdMech.
Yeah.
Like, that's mad.
I thought it was just Dylan.
Yeah. 3% of Dylan's? Oh, God.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's pretty interesting. What is that one? That is. So 13% of the players went 4-0 minimum. That's pretty impressive as well. Like, that really shows like pretty good dominance there.
Really good. Yeah, I mean, I think I forget which podcast I was listening to, and I am sorry because I've just plagiarized your idea, but they were saying that it's like the all edition AdMech has been struggling in damage, and the way they've been buffing it is to give them scoring and trash and like efficiency in terms of trading. And now they've finally at the end of the edition buffed the damage, but not taken any of that compensation away. So now it's just like has everything, like
yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
so I'm just looking at the
Skitari
detachments, and it's Halo Screed that's actually been winning. So Skitari Hunter cohort's gotten more like 4-0 finishes, but Halo Screed is actually winning the events.
That is really interesting, actually. I think Halo's Creed is possibly a bit harder to play. Although all AdMech is pretty hard to play. Yeah, like Hunter Cohort just gives you kind of like makes you a bit tougher.
It just gives you tools, right? It's very toolboxy kind of. The line up strat's quite good for your infantry. Like it's just good all round. Whereas Halo Screed is definitely a bit more like Halo Screed feels like a detachment that was made for a bad army and now is like a better army. So it's like it can push. It's kind of like a bad Gladius, which is like saying that's a praise. I mean that is praise. Because you get like advance and charge access, you have all this kind of stuff that you can do, advance and shoot, and like.
Well, Halo's Creed gives you a fuck ton of tools because you can triple advance and charge, which is you're right, incredibly Gladius-esque. You got the reactive move in Halo's Creed, and you can kind of like, I know Dylan really rates Skitari Hunter Cohort, but I've been talking to him about it, and my feeling was because I think the biggest thing outside the 18-inch lone op and the AP and uppy downy for Skitari Hunter Cohort is you're so defensive. You got stealth and -1 to hit in combat. You're always -1 to hit. Yeah. But with the changes to call, Halo's Creed can kind of just copy that because you can pick 2 to 3 units to have stealth, and then call can give off an aura of stealth. Like you basically just have this Skitari Hunter Cohort detachment rule.
Yeah. But then you also have the damage to the like windmill slam into your opponent if you want to as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can flex into like you like I think the big play at the moment with AdMech is you have the three little infiltrator units that stage up, just got their damage hugely buffed, and in they're a move 8 infiltrating unit, and in Halo's Creed they can all advance and charge turn 1,
Yeah.
and your opponent is immediately 3 score.
Ooh. Oh, you're broken up a little bit there, Tate.
You mind? Did you get my at least the gist of my rant about
You
infiltrators?
got 95% of it. It was the last like 3 seconds, so you're fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. You don't need the last 3 seconds.
Yeah. No, I think it's really interesting. I
No.
think, yeah, Halo Creed is, I think you're probably right there. It's probably um higher skill ceiling, but probably is also more punishing for mistakes, whereas Hunter Cohort kind of just does its thing and it's like it just drowns you over a game. Halo Creed has the ability to like, oh, you messed up. Cool. You're now actually dead, and like you have 40 bodies in front of you, like that you can't deal with.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. And it's
yeah,
also more flexible, I think. Like it is more able to adapt to different matchups.
yeah. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, but the next one is also super surprising to me. Sisters.
Yeah. Not I thought they were going to be really good. I don't know if I would have picked them for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, 59% win rate as well, with a 2.53 overrep. 17% of Sisters players went 4-0, like in tournament winning percentage. So they won 4 games before, X and X
Yeah.
and 1, tournament winning position, which is really impressive. 2 event wins, and again 3% of the meta. So apparently, being a really niche army, you'll get there'll be 3% of the meta plays you, and then you'll just be winning events. Yeah, really
Yeah.
cool stuff there.
I'm very interested to see detachments for this.
Yeah, let's have a look. See, so we have a Champions of Faith and a Bringers of Flame won an event. They're the two that won events. Bringers, I can actually genuinely see now, like with the update to Zephyrin from the last update and the update to Retributors this time. There's actually like
Yeah.
quite a bit of gas there now. Like they actually genuinely do a lot of damage again.
And it also genuinely last slate, I don't think it was bad. It was just like I think it was just a bit of abandonment. Like everyone was like, "Hello, Martyrs,
Yep.
good," and that was kind of the zeitgeist. But Bringers was still fine.
Yeah.
I don't like now people will be coming a bit back onto the faction. Yeah,
Yep. It's I think what I really like is like Bringers and Champions play completely differently. Like they
yes,
obviously have some similar tricks. They're still like the same faction, but like as far as you can almost get away within such a niche faction, they play completely different. Like Bringers of Flame is trying to hit angles, put on like brutal overwatches, and just be like fast and aggressive, and also fairly
but
cheap. Like units,
yeah.
fairly cheap. They're not actually that cheap, but they hit pretty hard.
Well,
Whereas
red
Champions is like,
star.
I am just durable. You are not beating me, and then having decent damage.
Champions is almost like a weird stat check is the wrong word, but it's like a board control durability list, whereas Bringers is almost a bit more like it's like Montcar or like
Momkar was melee.
almost. Yeah, true. It's a bit more mixed, but I think it's the assault is the big draw card of Bringers of Flame, like
Yeah.
assault guns with like +1 to wound access, and then miracle dice for the damage.
Yeah.
Like once you force through a shot, it's just always 8 damage. But the speed is the key thing,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Nah, I think it's really cool. Yeah, really, really interesting. I would not have. I could have guessed Admech would be like winning a couple events, especially until people like kind of figure out how to play against them. But wasn't one that I had on my bingo card for winning multiple events. That's for sure.
It's interesting because I did think Sisters would be doing really well, but I kind of assumed it would be Hallowed Martyrs because I thought we're going into a bit more of like a sort of MSU melee pressure meta where all the tricks from Hallowed Martyrs will be really good.
Yep.
So that was kind of my logic for thinking that Sisters would be up there. So interesting to see that's not so much what's happened.
Yeah. I think the next one is generally a just one person didn't win an event, but just did like a couple of people like they're 1% of the meta. They didn't win any events, like 10% of the players. So there was 50 people, 50 players, so 10 players, and one of them went 4-0.
I reckon that's just like veterans of the Long Black had like an RTT at someone's house, and Sean Sullivan went 4-1.
Yeah, that's kind
Like
of what it feels like. Like it's something along those lines, you know, like a bunch of guys got together, they played, and like they did well at an event. You know, like I don't think that that's really that indicative of anything. But the next one is definitely one that we feel like we're pretty like we're pretty high on, right? Like I think they're very strong in the meta right now, which is Eldari. And yeah, with 2.91 overrep. 13% of players, which is pretty decent when you had 6%. 13% of players went in tournament winning position and to event wins. I'll bring up what detachments. I'm assuming it's aspect host, right? Yeah, both of them were aspect host.
Yeah.
I wish that I feel like Wind Rider host, War host, aspect host are all like fine detachments.
I think Warhost is a bit harder to put, because I think the reason Aspect Host is the highest is it's the most consistent.
Yep.
Because Eldar is like can be kind of low volume, and just innate rerolls just helps with that damage. But I think Warhost is, at least in my mind, the best one, because movement is king, more movement. You also have more tokens, so like, you know, like I've been playing a little bit of Aspect Host because like a few people wanted to get reps into it, and while the damage is more consistent, you can't pull off some of the more like silly tricks because you run out of tokens.
Sure.
Whereas in Warhost with like 6 tokens, like I played a game versus Chad where I went like turn 1, I had Mark for Death, and tempting target, and he did his expansion as the tempting target, and I marked the Jaegers on the expansion. Janezar went and killed them, piled into another unit, which he had to fall back from, which let me move again with another token, move block his whole army, so he couldn't move onto his own expansion because he's can't fly over me. And then when he shot me, they fade away behind a wall, and Janezar is now standing on his expansion with Fight First and can't be shot.
Yeah.
Like that is kind of the stuff that Warhost lets you do. And Wind Rider Host, I think, is like really good in teams. The damage is crazy into certain profiles.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I think the Wind Rider Host also just falls apart as soon as it like gets seen, though, is kind of the issue. Like if it fails that kind of damage check, like the bikes are just literally marine bodies. Like they just die. Like
marine bodies were the worst save even.
Bad marine bodies. They are scouts. Good.
They are scouts. Your 6-man scout unit is OP.
Damaged like a god, but it dies to a fucking stiff breeze. But no, I think Eldari are going to be in the meta a lot recently. I think all the Eldar players in New Zealand are probably going to be jumping on them and playing them a bunch. I think they're strong. I think they're very good. They can control games incredibly well. They're fairly good into like generic Marines. They're bad into like Storm Ravens, which is kind of funny, but like I don't think really anyone's playing Storm Ravens.
Ryan the Eldar killer.
No, Ryan. Yeah. But I think it's really interesting. But it's
yes.
I also think it was kind of like expected as well. I feel like a lot of high level players play Eldari, which kind of always like it lifts up their tournament wins. Like the win rate doesn't matter like if a good player is playing them or not, but it lifts up like the 4-1s and their actual event wins, which is really the statistic that most people cling on to when they look at these.
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at with the more tokens thing, is the skill expression in that army is crazy.
The next we have the Short Kings.
The Short Kings.
Not expect Leagues of Votann.
Yeah. So it turns out Ollie and Chad are just both bad.
But they had a 0 for overrep though. They had 34 players. But they won 0 events, and they were 2% of the meta. So 6% of the players were in tournament winning position, which is fine. But no tournament wins. So they had a high win rate. They got a decent amount of like 4-1s, but they didn't actually push over the line, which is like, I guess I could see like, especially like Brandfast and Needguard, like if you disrespect it and don't understand how that matchup works, you could definitely just get got, especially in a singles environment, right? Like,
Mm. Yeah, like it's definitely, I don't know, like Brandfast's got some primary fuckery with the disembark, and
yeah,
then Nidgard is very stable, but I still think fundamentally you were right last episode when you said that it is barely honest, and it is,
Hearthband,
you know,
Hearthband, 68%.
Hearthband OP.
The
Damn.
6-inch drop, like Terminators are good, like the Hearthguard are good now. And 6-inch drop on a
Yeah,
unit that's really, really slow is actually genuinely.
it's
I've
good.
been trying to explain to Ollie that I think like 25 Terminators might just be the way. And because their damage is through the roof now, like they can just
Mm.
slap down damage. And I think, yeah, and then it gets rid of their biggest weakness, which is like movement. You rapid
Movement.
ingress one unit, 6-inch deep strike the other unit, and then you have this like crazy amount of like pushing pressure.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's solid.
yeah,
And I mean, do they get damage buffs in Hearthband? Because
they
I
get,
know,
if they
like in
shoot the closest target, they get reroll ones to wound.
that's fine.
Yeah, they already reroll ones to hit,
Yeah,
but you know they get reroll ones to wound. To be fair, when you, on your strength 8 guns, rerolling ones to wound like against anything that is below
yeah, true.
T8 is actually like a significant damage increase. Um,
Yeah, and I suppose that 6 inch you can engineer closest unit
yeah,
reasonably well.
yeah, and it is
So
per
yeah,
model though, so it can be kind of awkward sometimes, but like it is what it is. Like,
yeah.
but no, I think it's interesting, and I definitely think it is if you're not used to playing like so people got like have been slack on the 6-inch deep strike in the meta right now. So if people have just forgotten how to
Mm,
screen it, like 10 Terminators coming in your backfield is going to ruin your day.
one good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The melee is fairly lackluster though. Like being 2 attacks a guy is just kind of
Mm,
appalling. Like they need the flawless blades treatment to get that extra attack.
yeah. Yeah. Then you two can run 9 of them in your semi-competitive list.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like, so didn't get across the line, but they, uh, did quite well. 55% win rate is pretty good.
Mm,
Then we have Drukari and Orcs. Um, Drukari is an enigma to me because it's obviously before Codex. Like they're fine. There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with them, but because they won an
Nah.
event as well.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, like, I still think people were coming around a little bit to Drukari towards, and I kind of assume that a bit of that was just Haywire Scourges and Night Meta.
Yep.
But a few weeks ago, people were coming around to them, and they're still like they go incredibly wide and have a lot of mission play. Like you've got a lot of the, you know, dude and cheap transport is good. Yeah, like and I guess like before the codex comes out, like the Court of the Archon unit is solid in this
Yep.
meta, like a fights first unit. Reaper's
Urian's
Wager also.
insane.
Urian's really good value, yeah, unless he dies to a Tormentor Melter Gun. Sorry, Dylan. Um, yeah, but it's got like Reaper's Wager, you got Fight on Death, Fights First, Double Up.
Yep.
So like maybe into some of those meta threats, it's still good.
Yeah, Reaper's Wager and Real Space Raiders. Real Space Raiders at 60%. Interesting. So it's actually,
Yeah,
yeah. And Sky Splinter
Real
is at
Space
below
is
50. This is not. I would have expected Reapers to be at the top, and then Sky Splinter to be next to it, and Real Space to be at the bottom. To be fair,
I think a lot of people expect that, but like Real Space has like I think it has Grey Knight's issue. Like it's boring, but
hmm.
some of the strategies are like the detachment rule boring as hell. But some of the stratagems like -1 to wound or -1 damage on a Covens unit is really good.
Yep.
Fire and Fade, like old for now still old school Fire and Fade.
Yeah, I guess
So
the durability buff that Kronos got as well because they got came down in points like 15 points per model, which is crazy. So like just running 6 of those and then just being able to like send them forward and just be like, you probably can't actually kill this. Like,
not with minus because it's like a flat -1 to wound.
yeah,
Yeah, like it's yeah.
it's pretty interesting. Yeah, fair. Like it's quite cool. Nice. And then we'll just finish it off with orcs, since orcs are my boys. What Orcs had a 54% win rate. Well,
It's gonna
forget
be
how many
Dread
detachments
Dread
there are.
Mob. Oh my god.
Oh,
It is Dread Mob.
Dread Mob, Culture Speed, and Green Tide all with basically 60% win rates. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Green Tide I can generally see, like, with the Gaz change, Green Tide I think could generally actually be pretty scary. Like,
It is
Gaz with
Yeah.
a rerollable Blood Surge is pretty funny. Like,
I don't think that's funny. I think that's atrocious.
yeah. Culture Speed, they actually got, like, you gain like 100 points in your Culture Speed list from the drops that the data slate, because like your bikes went down and a couple of the buggies went down. Like you gained like,
Mm.
50 to 100 points depending on how hard you're going into it, which is like another thing, which I guess is pretty good. But like, these are all super low player counts, so like take it all with a grain of salt, right? Like,
not statistically relevant.
yeah. And like 60% with Dread Mob, it's 2 players because not a single one of them. They both went 3 and 2 because not a single one of them went 4 and were in tournament winning position. So like 2 guys probably went, 3 and 2.
You just
like,
know one of them had a stomper as well. Like,
oh yeah, Stomper's actually like the double, like the Morka Gorkanaut is actually like genuinely I think kind of fun. Like it's probably not the strongest thing you can be doing, but it's definitely got the potential just to overwhelm some games. Like, yeah.
Well, I think the strongest, like, because there have been instances of like Dreadmod winning GTs and stuff, right? And I think what you see is actually just like the infantry with mechs leading it, right? And you just like turn on the buff from having a mech in your unit.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just like playing lottery the entire weekend.
Yeah, right.
Because you're hazardousing on 1s and 2s with everything, and you're just praying for 5s and 6s to hit. Like it's a dream. I've played quite a few games with Dreadmob. It is very fun to play, but you are genuinely just like kissing your dice before every roll and back, please, sir.
Well, yeah. And if you want to do that, you can just play Thousand Suns with less models. So yeah.
Exactly. But then you can't just wah. You can't scare everyone around you by screaming wah.
You can charge everyone with your Thousand Suns army. Your 30 Scarab Occult Terminators.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Nah, cool. Well, with that said, we've been live for over an hour. We've kind of talked about everything we need to talk about. Things aren't live for LVO, so I think we kind of call it there. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we shoot off?
Not really. I mean, I guess we could give a sneak preview for next week would be the only
go for it.
Yes. Well, so I think we're looking at, I know we did the tier list for singles last week, so we'll be looking at doing I think initially it was a teams tier list for next week, but you said you wanted to look at maybe building our own 5s or 8s and doing
we could either the options kind of is either we do the tier list first, or we do like building a matrix, and we just kind of go through how like our mindsets on for like building a matrix. So we'll make like a five-man team, and then we'll just kind of go through how we think of matrix. I think those are both interesting. We have next week we can do that, and then the week after that will probably be our Lakes of Blood preview. We might try and even get a guest on for that, since we know quite a few people going, so we might try and get our first guest on for that one, which could be quite cool.
Yeah.
And talk about once lists are live for that, which would be pretty exciting. But yeah, I think the pairings thing is a cooler idea. Since we've done a faction tier list
more interesting
recently, I think it could be pretty cool.
Break it up. Yep, no, that sounds good. And also, if anyone wants to super chat or send Odyssey 40k money, I will critique your friends. I will be incredibly negative about your mates list for Lakes of Blood. There we go.
Beautiful. Cool, awesome. Yeah, I think that'll be really fun. I think that'll be a really cool episode as well. And yeah, if do the things, this is going to be on Spotify. I might actually try and edit this one tonight and get it up on Spotify first thing tomorrow. So if you can't listen, obviously, if you don't like watching this stuff live or on YouTube, it'll be on Spotify as well. So you always have access to it there. It's skill issue. I'll try and put a link to the Spotify like thing in the description once I've got that sorted. And yeah, we'll go from there. Otherwise, thanks guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Excellent. Cheers.
Bye.